In this last week, men should be encouraged to reflect on what they've learned at Caring Dads, on the changes that they've made over the course of the group, and on their plans for the future. In addition, in this week, we work with each man to create an eco-map to identify those relationships that are going to help him sustain his change.
Okay, so guys, we've just finished reviewing everything that we've learned over the last 17 weeks together and reconnected on that, so kind of draw that bigger picture for you. So what we want to do now is leave you with a sense of purpose and intention as we finish this program. So what we're going to do is an exercise that we call eco-mapping. And what an eco-map does is really helps you identify supports, people of support, agencies, communities of support in your life that you can begin to break through isolation that you might feel, find a place to talk about issues, you know, like for example, when you might be feeling insecure about gym, you know, who can you talk to rather than taking it out on your family, who can you turn to? So we want to identify people you can turn to. So now that your wife is in college now, taking part-time courses, who can you talk to about how do I be a father to a 7 and a 12-year-old? Who can I turn to, right, in my community? So that's what we want to do, is kind of get a sense of those people. So who can we start with? Yay, Jason, excellent.
I didn't see my hand going.
So Jason, I'm going to put you right in the middle here. So identify, give us some people in your life that are important to you. Who's important to you? Well, it sounds like Susan might be.
Yes.
So I can just kind of put her out here. And so why don't I get a sense of the relationship you have with Susan? It's up and down, right?
Well, no, I think Susan and I think we were fortunate in that we never really truly had a real married relationship, so we didn't have there's no baggage there. I mean, there's no fighting, there's no memories of bad thoughts. So that's a positive thing. And she's moved on.
Right.
And I'm listening no threat to anybody. So
Right. Yeah.
It's a good relationship.
So it's a strong relationship and it's a porous relationship. So what I mean by porous, it's not like an intimate relationship, right? But she's a good friend to you, or could be.
We can be absolutely honest with each other, yes.
Yes. Okay. There's Susan. Who else?
I mean, I have friends at work.
Yeah. So you got a bunch of work. You got a group of work buddies.
Yeah.
How close are you to them?
I think this is as close as any male friends are.
Okay. So if you're having some trouble, are they someone you could talk to?
Depending on what the topic is, as long as it's not too personal.
Not too personal. Sure.
Um,
Like it's complaining about work, you could talk
absolutely.
to them.
So
Okay.
like women I probably don't talk to them about how I feel.
Not talk to them about how you feel. Is there anyone you talk to about how you feel?
Outside of this group, probably no.
No. Okay. So have you made a connection with anyone in here?
I think we all get along.
Yeah.
I mean, I see nobody outside of work, but I mean outside of this group. But
Yeah.
again, I mean, we see each other every week anyway, so it's probably more successful than any of my other relationships.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think I could.
You can call me anytime.
Yeah, but you're busy with the kids now. So.
I'd certainly encourage any of you to voluntarily share your contact info if you want to do that, because I think you've all become really important to each other at this point. You've shared stuff in this group that you probably haven't talked to anyone about, fears, concerns. Okay, do you have what about Tracy? Where's that?
It's not going anywhere.
Not
I mean, you know what? I made a horrible choice when I was Tracy. never going to forgive me, and I don't expect her to. We can talk now
Yeah.
a little more.
Yeah.
But you know what, that relationship will never, ever be.
Yeah.
I mean.
So it's kind of broken.
I'm not sure that I would be friends with the after I did what Tracy
Right.
said.
Sure. So you did a lot of hurt there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, having a kid while I'm married to Tracy probably
Sure.
wasn't the smartest thing to do in the world.
Sure. So it's a broken relationship, but you have someone with her. And I guess the reason that I want you to kind of think about that, because you know, your daughter might actually step back into your life, much like what's happened with Jim in your situation, right?
Yeah.
So what about any siblings, brothers or sisters?
No, I don't have brothers or sisters.
You got none.
No.
You really don't have any, or do you not see them?
I have a brother that I don't see. But that was.
I'm sure there's a story there.
I'm sure, yes, there's.
Right. Was he dating Tracy or something when you? Oh, he was, wasn't he?
No, it was just old baggage that
Sure.
we're both not willing to.
That's all right. So, do you have any friends outside of work that you connect with?
Not really. I mean, work is. I mean, that's who I'll grab a beer with. Between every other weekend, visiting and this group for the last 5 months, court cases, and making money to support. Yeah, that's pretty much my life right now.
Yeah, for sure.
No, the good thing is, I mean, I don't have to worry about my mother-in-law looking over my shoulder when I'm with the kids now, which is nice. So we
Yeah.
can go out, we have them going out.
I don't think I didn't get this name right, did I? Your oldest daughter?
My oldest daughter is Katie.
Katie.
Anne would be his stepdaughter.
Anne's your stepdaughter. Got it. And your daughter's name was Tracy? Angie, right? I know right now it's not fantastic.
You know what? I've spoken to Angie. I mean, we've actually connected on Facebook, believe it or not. But just a hello.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's my in. Because I can't talk to Tracy. So.
Yeah. And then your other kids?
Brianne
Right.
and Sarah and Stephen.
Okay. What's your mother-in-law's name?
I just like to refer her as the Wicked Witch.
What's her name?
Sarah
With an H?
with an H
Okay.
and an E.
What did you say? What was her name?
Hell, she's hell.
The mother.
You know what? She's okay. She's backed off a little bit. So
She's
I
okay.
have to be fair. So
Yeah.
she's not as bad as she was.
Right. So she's a support for you in this. How about your parents?
My mother's house.
Yeah. Okay. So what we've drawn you here is kind of a map going forward of people and relationships that you should probably be thinking about. How do I attend to these things? How do I prepare for this? That's right now it's Facebook, right? Give it a couple years, it might change, right? So how am I going to prepare myself for this? I've got these kids. Whether or not you and Brandy get back together, you've got this relationship.
That's not happening.
You've got this relationship with Brandy you need to sort out because these kids are important in that. You've got your caring dads. You can always come back here to do that. You've got Katie, a relationship you need to focus on with that. You got a brother who you don't have a good relationship with, and you might want to think about what that's about. You got a mother-in-law here who I think if we were to reframe that relationship, that she was actually probably more supportive than you think. She was the one who went with the kids to visit with you, right? So if she didn't want to do that, she wouldn't have done it, right? So that's important. You got these guys in the group you can connect with, and you got your buddies at work. My guess is your buddies at work, if you actually started talking about this, there'd be probably 2 or 3 of those guys that would have the same story you have. And you probably know that they do. You just don't talk about it. Okay, so this is your work going forward, thinking about where your life is. Jason, you got a really full life here, right? It's a busy life. Could be a busy life if you engaged in it. Okay. Jason, can you give us another name that we can put up here? So I've got your daughter with Tracy.
It's Angie.
That'd be Angie, right? So we want you to think about that relationship and how you might work on that. Are there some things you might want to think about?
The good thing is actually, I mean, we have contact through Facebook.
Right.
We're not talking yet, but so that's a positive.
That's
when I heard about your Facebook, I mean, that actually it worked. So.
And let's think about your other daughter with Susan. What's her
Katie.
name? Katie?
Katie.
Right?
Katie's going well.
Yeah.
But I mean, Susan's going well. So.
Susan's going well. You got a good relationship with her. And do you have any family?
I have a brother but we haven't spoken in years. So.
Sure. So I'm going to put your brother on here as a potential goal for you to kind of think about what would it take to actually make that different? What kind of assumptions can I make that are really generous about this person? And change that around a bit. Perhaps he's a good one. What about, how do you feel about your mother-in-law, Brandy's mom?
She's she's better than she was. So I mean, she's not supervising. She's not over my shoulder anymore.
Right.
But she's still my least favorite stepmother.
She's your least favorite stepmother, but she's also still pretty important to Brianne, Sarah, and Stephen.
Yes, she
Right.
is.
So she has to be somewhat important to you to have a relationship with her. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a goal.
It's useful to remember that men often rely on their partners for directions on how to parent their children. Although it is important that fathers work with children's mothers in a cooperative manner, they should not be relying on them to provide all the information about their children. Assert that men have an independent responsibility as fathers to get the information they need about being a good parent.